So Tanya, the floor is yours. Please tell us, talk to us. Please let me know as soon as you feel that you're tired or you don't want to talk anymore, because the main thing for us right now is your health.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead.
I'm good. I just have to take some slow, deep breaths every once in a while. So about 14 days ago, I'm at work. Now I do admissions so when people come into the hospital, I do the admission. So I see them right off the street. I see them when they're, excuse me, I see them when they haven't taken a hot shower. I've seen them when they're dirty, filthy fingernails. I see them at their worst before anybody upstairs takes care of them. So as you know, I don't know if you've been doing this after work, you come home, you disrobe like either in the garage or as I have done in front of my front door, inside, not outside. I'll disrobe, throw all my stuff in the dryer because this disease, this illness can't survive in heat. So I would throw all my clothes in the dryer, sometimes not my shoes because I have heels. And then I would take a hot shower. And because this thing can't, like I said, it can't live in heat. So we've read. So about 2 weeks ago, it was a really busy day. It was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can't remember. It was a really busy day. Sometimes I work 11, 12-hour days and admitting people all throughout the night. And then there was this one day that I was just extra tired. Not even tired, but just really winded. And I remember going from, I had done like a lot of tours, like anytime that somebody comes in as a patient, I have to take them upstairs after admission, get them a room, do a tour. So I've had like a lot of interaction with patients. And sadly, the hospital does not practice social distancing at all. In fact, it's in this sitting, it's almost like impossible. So, but you know, I didn't wear the face mask because my employer in the beginning said, "Oh, you're freaking out patients," and I'm like, "Who cares?" You know, it was frowned upon for us to even wear the masks because it would bring patients anxiety. And so, and then we also hear that unless you are having symptoms, there's really no use to having your mask. Well, now we know different. Wear that damn mask, you guys. I don't care what anybody thinks of you. I don't care how you look. Wear that mask. So there was this one day I went from my office directly next door, and I said to Johnny, the nurse, he goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Dang, Johnny," I go, "I feel I'm so out of breath." And he's like, "Well, Tanya, you need to start doing some more cardio." He's like, "Where'd you come from?" I'm like, "The office next door." And we had a good laugh, but honestly, I just thought that, you know, I was either out of shape or maybe I got up too fast. I really dismissed it because I wasn't having that cough that everybody was talking about. You know, that is really like an initial sign, is this cough. Well, I haven't had that yet. So that was my first, if I were to look in hindsight, that was like the very first symptom that I got where I was just totally out of breath. But again, it was really busy. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just tired, overworked, overwalked, whatever. I totally dismissed it. Didn't think anything of it. So fast forward, a couple of between like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to the following Monday, I kept like getting a little bit winded, but again, we all do, right? So I didn't really think anything of it. So then Sunday came around. I worked Sunday through Thursday. Sunday came around and I'm like, God, I'm really not feeling well. Maybe I'm just overtired. Because again, I couldn't go see my mom. I mentioned before this meeting started, I couldn't go see my mom now I haven't seen her in 6 weeks because she was like, Tanya, I have cancer. I'm going under treatment. She's like, I can't afford you going from, she didn't use this word, but it's my word. She goes, I can't have you go from this petri dish to my house. I don't care if you even go home, take a shower or whatever. She's like, I can't risk it. So basically my mom's telling me, stay away. And for all of you who knows, that's like the hardest thing because I'm her caregiver in the evening. Denise is her caregiver during the day. So this has been really rough. So what I've been doing is like pretty much like working late because I can't go anywhere, can't go to my mom, so might as well help the staff out, admit patients, etc. And so anyway, that Monday, my neck started hurting, my shoulders, I just felt achy. And again, I hadn't been sleeping well because it was really busy, so I dismissed it. So the operative word in this whole thing is don't dismiss anything. Then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take my temperature, because at that point I was feeling kind of achy. And so I took it in the morning. It was like 98.5, 98, you know, your average 98.6. And then an hour or two, I tested it again. It went to like 99.9. Then I tested it again. It went to like 100.5. And then a couple of hours passed and it was 101.5. And so it was like towards the end of the evening, like 7 o'clock. And I'm sitting at my desk. I'm just reading a book. You know, actually, I was reading my book because I'm like, everybody's getting stuff out of it. I might as well reread it again. Let's see what I put in there. Maybe it'll help me. And so here I am. I'm just reading my book, and I'm just feeling kind of achy. And then risk management came to talk to me, and they said, well, Tanya, somebody else in the hospital is getting tested, and now you have a high fever. We're going to send you home. And I said, okay. So like I have done, I disrobe in front of my front door, throw all my clothes in the dryer. I hopped in the shower, and hang on just a second. By the way, hot water with lemon is your best friend when you have this. I took a hot shower, and it was like excruciating. Just the water hitting my skin. I mean, I'm affected by it right now. It was like the craziest feel. I could not, now, you know me, I love my hot baths. I love my hot showers. But that shower was so excruciating that I couldn't wait to get out. But I knew I needed to like clean myself. I didn't even wash my hair because I was like, that's going to take too long. I could not wait to get out of that shower. It was so painful, crazy, like anything I've ever felt. I never, like even when I've had the flu years ago, I never felt like your skin hurts, you know, you ache when you have the flu, but this was something totally different. And I was kind of freaking out. And I was freezing cold, and I had my heater on to like 80 plus. I could not get warm. I was so cold. Just went, you know, put on my jammies, went to bed, and then woke up feeling pretty much the same way on Tuesday. So I've been sleeping like 18-hour days up until like 2 days ago. I think I slept 15. So I'm on the mend, but this thing has just wiped me out. Like, totally crazy. Now I love to sleep, but not 18 hours. That's kind of freaking ridiculous. Like between 6 and 8 hours, those are like just like everybody else. But everything I did, like I would walk I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I would go from my bedroom to my bathroom, having to stop like 3 times just to catch my breath. It was just, and at that time I didn't have the cough that everybody was talking about. So, but I did have this shortness of breath, and I'm starting to hear more about that. I mean, literally like every 2 or 3 steps, I would have to just lean up against the wall, or it was just like I had no muscles holding me up. It was just crazy. So this didn't subside. I started coughing. It was, it's a different cough. It's like an elephant sitting on your chest. It's not like a loose cough where you're coughing up stuff. It's a very dry cough. And when you breathe in a little bit too deep, it's like it hurts when you cough, no matter what. It hurts when you breathe, no matter what. But they say to do these breathing treatments, right? So I've got, you know, my peppermint oil. I've done that. I've done my chamomile steaming bath, like, you know, breathing in very slowly to open everything up. It's just old-fashioned remedies. You know, you try not to lay flat as much as you can because, you know, water can build up. So I'm doing these breathing treatments and I'm dying. It's like, not dying, but it was hurt. It hurt. So then on Wednesday, I said to my mom, I go, Mom, you know, I think I got to go get tested. Like, I'm not feeling well. And of course, you know, my mom, you don't know my mom, but if you know me, I'm exactly like my mom. She goes, do you need to go get tested? Because at that point, we were all kind of scared at that point because I was getting so winded. My sister Denise, she would drop food at my front door, and, you know, and then when I opened up the front door, she's like 10 feet away from me. And I could not, I still have the chair in front of the front door. I still can't stand up for a long time. I have to like sit down and have like a quick conversation with her before she needs to go back to, you know, home and not be around me. So I have my chair right over there because still I have a hard time standing for a long period of time. So on Wednesday, I called my doctor and I said, you know, Dr. DeRelay, these are my symptoms. They, you know, haven't gone away. Like what's going on? I mentioned my symptoms, but the main one that everybody's talking about is this cough. And mine really wasn't consistent, but it hurt. And so she's like, you know, it just sounds like you're kind of borderline with like the flu and maybe this. And I said, well, you're the doctor. Should I go get tested? She's like, I don't know. I don't think you need to. She's like, but you know what? I'm going to do it just in case. And thank God she listened to her gut. So that was Wednesday. Thursday morning at like 9 o'clock, it took me everything to get to the Anaheim clinic off of Kramer. It took me everything. Oh my God. I was like, I don't even want to get tested because I can't get there. Like it took me everything I had to get there. So got there, everything was like a really tight ship. I don't know if any of you got tested, but I was really impressed, really tight ship. No, like windows don't come down. I mean, I was very, very impressed. And they said, you know what, pull off to the side. We want to give you an inhaler. So this little guy. And I said, okay. So I've been doing it, you know, and it wasn't helping me. So I wasn't going to pump myself up with something that wasn't working for me, even though it's steroid. I don't even know what it was or what it is. I don't have asthma. I don't have any pre-existing conditions other than depression and anxiety, which I manage every day. I'm really healthy. But that thing just, for some reason, it didn't work. So anyway, I got tested on Thursday at 9, Friday, like at 7:30, early in the morning. It felt like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was like 7 or 7:30. The doctor from Kaiser calls me up and he said, okay, I go, this isn't good news, is it? And he goes, no. He goes, you tested positive. And I'm like, okay, what did we do? You know, it's like here you hear about the worst case scenarios that we see, you know, on the news and people on, you know, ventilators and they're intubated and we're in healthcare. I've seen intubation before, going into the senior homes, just like you. I've seen it, and you know, as you can agree with me, it's not nice. And so right away, my head went there, like, oh my God, I'm a number now. I'm one of them. I'm a statistic. And I said to myself, okay, Tanya, like. Get it together. Like you got a result now. Let's do what we need to do to get the treatment. And so I really had to tap into my head, to my mind over matter. Like I can't let this thing like get me. So what do I need to do? So I asked the doctor. He goes, I need you to go to the ER. Okay, so there's something else that got stuck in my head. I'm going to be admitted. I'm going to be intubated. I'm going to have a ventilator. It's like, that's what your mind does when something like this happens. You've seen the worst on television, so automatically you kind of think the worst because that's where it's going to go. But you don't know like the severity of all these cases. And so, so I go to the ER. And basically, like, I didn't know where the ER was. At this time, I'm off at Sand Canyon in Kaiser, and I parked in the general parking. I'm walking like, am I at the door yet? Like I was so out of breath. And then I went to the wrong door. I was like, the lady said, no, you have to go around the building. And I'm like, oh my God. I go, and I'm crying to the nurse. I said, how far is it? I said, because I tested positive. I'm totally out of breath. At this point, I think I was crying or teary-eyed. I got in my car again, went all the way to get my car because I'm not going to walk all the way back to where I was. I sat down, they got me a wheelchair, brought me into the ER. Again, everything was so isolated. There could have been 30 people in there and I never would have known. Everything was just so it's like you could have come in there with a mild cold to COVID and you'd be treated the exact same way. And so went into the ER. They were planning on admitting me, but the doctors, a chest raise came back. They said, you definitely have this. He's like, how's your breathing? I'm like, it's hard. I go, it's an effort. And he's like, well, he goes, I feel comfortable sending you home. He says, because your numbers are good. He's like, you're really healthy. And when he said that, I go, you know me, I'm a little jokester. And I said, yeah, but I got this thing that can kill me. And he looked at me and he goes, well, I feel comfortable sending you home. And I go, well, then send me home. I would rather sleep this thing off in the comfort of my own home, if I can, and leave to the bed to some of the people, you know, to a person that we see on television, right? So I said, I'm just going to go home. So been in bed like up until about 2 days ago, was in bed literally probably for a total of like 11 days. My main symptom was just heavy breathing. And you can tell it still is that way. The air is very thick. It's very, it's just thick. It's really just difficult to, you know, just normal breathing. It's really, God, I pray to God, you just don't dismiss the symptom, or if somebody you know has this symptom, like that's, to me, that was the beginning sign. With some people, it's a cold. I didn't feel like I had a cold. I had some congestion, maybe some nasally like you hear right now. But the cough was not consistent. So I just dismissed it. It was the shortness of breath and how much effort it took for me to go from my bedroom to my bathroom. And even when I wanted to go like fill up my water bottle here, I just literally had to lay it over the counter and pour my bottle of water. It was just like, everything I did took so much effort. And, you know, there's really nothing you can do for this. I consider myself really lucky. If this thing was a mild case, I think the way I was feeling, it was more like mild to severe, but it kicked my butt royally. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. And nothing infuriates me more than when I still see on Instagram and Facebook, people are still walking on the hiking trails because they want to go out and get fresh air. You know what, you guys, I've been cooped up in my apartment, not even getting fresh air because, I mean, I'll crack it a little bit just to let fresh air kind of come into my apartment, but I don't want my germs to go out there, you know? So nothing makes me more frustrated when I see people complaining about, oh, we can't go on the bike trails, or can't do that. Well, listen, I got this from someone either, you know, definitely at work because we're all in close proximity. But, you know, if you're out on the hiking trail, there could be that one person who does that one cough and you get it. And you also could be a carrier and not even know it. And you may be passing it on to somebody else. So this is not the time to be selfish. I need to go outside and go get exercise and go walk the trail. It's like, stay home. I'm telling you, you guys, firsthand, you don't want this. Nothing is worse than not being able to breathe. And my mom goes, but you know, I talk to my mom and WhatsApp her all the time, and she's like, well, now you know how I feel. And she always blames things like on old age. And I go, well, maybe, I go, I'm 50. I go, maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm old age. But also I've had no taste. I have no sense of smell. I mean, I have to douse everything with salt because salt, for some reason, is like the only thing that I can taste. So if this didn't kill me, high blood pressure will. But nothing like chicken soup. It soothes, it feels good, but it doesn't taste. I made myself a pasta the other night with like double under cheese and salt and sun-dried tomato. Nothing. It's like, I don't know. I told my mom to say, I told my mom, tell Denise to bring over my weight scale, over your weight scale. And she's like, no, you're not stepping on that. She's like, I can't afford it. You know, I mean, my mom's really not wanting me to be around, and I get it. But I do miss her. I miss her a lot. Yeah, that's the thing that really hurts, but you know, I'm getting better every day. But it's been hell, you know, laying in bed, sleeping 18 hours a day, not being able to go from one room to another and get totally exhausted. It's, you do not want this. If you don't have to go to work, if you can work from home, do that. If you do have to go to work, wear a mask, wear gloves. I don't care what anybody thinks, just do it. It was frowned upon in my place of employment. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, it brought the patient's anxiety until there were 2 confirmed cases. And it was me and another nurse and another person, another staff member's getting tested. So nobody's practicing social distancing in this place. They're still eating together in the cafeteria. There's still, you know, bins of forks, knives, and spoons, everybody's hands in it. My mom said, Tanya, start bringing your silverware. And I kept forgetting because I'm like, oh, you know, whatever, I wear gloves. Okay. Well, you know, if you have to go out to lunch somewhere, if you do have to go to a cafe, cafeteria, bring your own silverware. The old adage, I should have listened to my mom. I should have listened to my mom because I could have gotten into the cafeteria, you know, grabbing my fork, my knife, my spoon. I did not eat with anybody in the cafeteria at this point because, you know, we'd be 6 feet of separation. And my mom was like, don't eat with the patients, just don't. And so I was like, I would just go back to my office and I would eat my food. And, but I got it there, and they're still not practicing social distancing. They're still business as usual. I think the only thing that has changed is that the staff now wears masks, big deal. They're still bringing in patients. So I have a decision to make when I get better. Do I want to go work for a company that doesn't protect anyone, or do I want to go back there because I like what I do? I actually love what I do. But you know, this is a health thing, and I'm my mom's caregiver too. So I've got a decision to make, and I think my mom's going to come. I think my mom's going to come first in this decision. So we'll see when I get better before I make any rash decisions on what I can do. But I know that if they haven't taken any precautions or any, any precautions to keep anybody safe, I'm not going back. It's not worth it. I want to take care of my mom. To me, that's more important. You know, I have some savings that'll keep me afloat for a while. And, you know, I do speaking and coaching on the side ever so often. So, you know, at this point, it's not about the money. It's about wanting to be with my mom and my family. And, you know, I don't know what faith you all are from, but I'm a Christian woman. And I really believe that this is God's way of saying, slow down, people. We need to connect again. We need to connect with our families. We need to connect with one another and not take each other for granted. I really think he has his hands in this, and it's a rude awakening. It's a rude awakening. We're in Revelations, I firmly believe. You know, fire, illness, and earthquakes, and all of the disasters. And but honestly, if there's anything good that's going to come out of this, it's reconnecting with your family again. Even though I can't connect physically, I have WhatsApp, right? We have Zoom. But I think for all the parents out there, I think this is like a perfect opportunity to get to know your children, and maybe really realizing that maybe your child isn't safe at school, or maybe they're not happy. Maybe, you know, I don't know. This is a different way of connecting with one another. And if we can look at it like that, I think it's a beautiful thing. And instead of like maybe even saying social distancing, maybe saying, you know, physical distancing, because to tell you the truth, I think we're becoming more social in a healthy way now as what we were before. We were social with other people because we were always like this and busy, you know, busy. And now it's like we're kind of being forced, right, to slow down, you know, learn to appreciate your partner, your spouse, your children again. Don't take your parents for granted. I mean, look at these families where their parents are in senior homes and they're dying and you can't go see them. I couldn't imagine that. You know, they're taking their last breath alone with no family. Newborns, you know, who can't see their family saying hi through a window. I mean, it's like, that's why I'm an advocate. Like, just stay at home. If you don't have to go, get DoorDash, you know, and then always, 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 always cover up anything. Anything you do. So like when I mentioned that when I crack my window, I always have this because I don't know what's floating out there. This is not the time to be selfish. Somebody was selfish and I got sick, you know, so I'm there to help, of course, but I care about anybody who's struggling, but I have a hard time putting my life in front of somebody who really doesn't care about themselves, about their own life. And that's also been a real huge battle with, you know, the decision I have to make. Do I want to go back to a place that really doesn't care about their staff? Do I really want to work with a place where people are coming in compromised and they don't care about us? I mean, the patients aren't even wearing masks. So it's like, I just have some thinking that I need to do, but I think the decision's going to be easy. But, you know, natural remedies, I mentioned my peppermint, my On Guard from doTERRA, oregano. I have like great Italian smelling feet right now. And then my breathing stick. And then I mentioned my chamomile and my hot water. And that's pretty much it. It's just, you don't want this. Wear a mask. Stay away, stay at home if you can. If you have to go somewhere for food or work, wear a mask, wear two, double up on the gloves. I can touch my face now because it's like I'm at home and all of that. But when I was, you know, still at work, I would not touch my face. Like, just do not touch your face. And wash your cell phone is like the dirtiest carrier ever. Disinfect as much as you can. Take hot showers now that they don't hurt. I take more hot showers and hot baths, so that's helpful. That's pretty much it. You know, it's I think how I know I'm getting on the mend is that I'm not sleeping as much anymore. So which is good. And I'm blessed that I don't have children because I can rest. Even though I love children, but I'm really happy I don't have them right now because my body is able to say, lay down. So that's pretty much it. But just don't dismiss any sign you're having. If you feel like you're like Denise, my sister Denise, she lives in Italy 3 months out of the summer, and hopefully she doesn't go this year. But her husband's cousin called her, had her ask me, did your sister feel like she was having a cold? And I said, no. I go, but it was a congestion, kind of like a nasally thing, kind of like what I still have. And she's like, okay. And I go, Denise, just tell her to go get tested. I mean, everything in Italy is free. It's like everything in pretty much free. I'm like, just tell her to just go get tested. Get tested. You know, if you have to kind of embellish your symptoms a little bit, I'm not an advocate for it, but it seems like people aren't taking this as serious yet. So if you need to embellish your symptoms a little bit, do it if that's what it's going to take for you to get, okay, you're cleared to get tested. God, just do whatever. If you feel a symptom, do what you need to do to get tested. Nip this thing, catch it. If I didn't catch it and know, like, okay, breathing, you know, the inhaler didn't really work, of course, but just breathing the chamomile over hot water, the peppermint, and rest. Who knows where this could have gone? You know, I don't know, but I'm still taking it very easy because, like I said, I get winded. I'm good because I'm sitting down, but I'm not going to overdo it. And I'm also another blessing. I'm really good at the art of doing nothing. I'm okay with that because it's just who I am. I'm okay being alone. I'm okay doing nothing. I'm okay resting. And so I think that's really worked in my favor this time, for sure. I got my, I don't know, this is probably about 3 weeks ago, I wanted to go to CVS and create a vision board, but they didn't have any arts and crafts. So I got together some yellow folders. So I think today I'm going to tape them all together and make a vision board and, you know, kind of, you know, envision what I want coming out of this. And I'm going to be healthy and I'm always happy. even when I'm not sick, or even when I'm sick. Born with a joyful, gene. I'm good, but I wasn't good, and I'm just grateful that I'm on the mend, because you guys, you don't want this. If you have to go into the senior homes, exercise caution by all means. If you feel like you're having a symptom, if you don't have to go visit your patients or go visit, your DON, don't go. If you do not have to go, do not go. There's Zoom, there's Skype. You can always connect this way right now to let people know that you still care about them. We're running into this Riverside Magnolia thing right now, and that breaks my heart, because it's like, these people need you. I mean, I'm like, God, I can only imagine what those families are experiencing. Like, I felt safe leaving my loved one with you, and now you're abandoning them. And I understand nurses need to be safe, but it's like, holy cow, then don't sign up to be a nurse.
Yep.
It's like, don't sign up to do this then, because what you really did, I heard somebody say last night on the news that said, we're not mean people. And I'm like, yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yep.
You are. You're mean. And you're abandoning the very people who need you, the most vulnerable. And I think even a patient died in transport. And, a shame on them. I think every one of them should lose their license, to tell you the truth. You totally abandon your family. You abandon one another. You abandon the patients. You abandon the families of the patients. I mean, I was appalled when I heard that. It was like, talk about selfish. Just another check on this selfish mark. But yeah, you guys, if you don't have to go anywhere, just don't. It's not worth it. You don't want what I had last week. It was hell.
All right. Well, thank you, Tanya. How are you feeling so far?
I'm good.
You ready? You good for questions?
Yeah, I'm just talking slow, and I'm mellow.
All right. Raise your hand if you have any questions for Tanya, so that we can see who. Hold on. Let me unmute everybody. So please no back. Actually, you know what? Just raise your hand and then you unmute yourself. Go ahead. Okay, Mary, go ahead.
This may sound, this is a question for everybody, not even just for you, Tanya, but I guess I just haven't seen the outcome, and maybe we don't know the outcome yet, but once you've had the virus, are you still considered a carrier, or is it that once you've had it, I know you can't get it again, but does that mean that you can still carry the virus?
I think that's why they want you to like isolate for 2 weeks, just to make sure. But I'm giving myself an extra week after that, because I'm gonna start seeing my mom after the end of this. But I'm giving it. I've already, like, when I got sent home, I got tested, and the note said, okay, you can't go to work. Excuse me, for like a week. And when I was tested positive, I can't go to school. I couldn't go to work for 2 weeks. So altogether, I'll have 3 weeks off. And then I'm going to give myself an extra week. So, I got to be there for my mom during her treatment.
Yeah, but Tanya, but I think you should get tested again just to make sure that you're negative.
Sure.
And then you have to be negative. For what I heard, basically the doctors and everything is that you had to be test negative twice in a row to make sure that you're clear. After that, then yes, you're clear. But if before that, do not take any risk.
Well, I didn't know that you have to get tested 2 times. Okay, so good information. Yeah. But yes. I have heard that once you have this, it's like there's antibodies that are built up, so which is good, I guess. And also, FYI, you guys, if you're healthy, I keep getting text messages, direct messages on Facebook, messengers, blah, 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 saying they're in need of plasma. So if you ever donate blood, if you ever have, if this, maybe you want to do it now. I can't do it right now, but after all of this, I plan on doing that. So, you don't think about things like that, about donating blood and plasma, because there is a shortage of it. So if you're healthy, go for it, because it's a huge need right now.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? No questions? So So how did, Tanya, let me ask you, so how did you feel at the moment that you got the diagnosis, when the doctor told you that? What was going through your mind?
Well, my first, when I I picked up the phone, I was like, this isn't good news, is it? And he goes, no. And he goes, you tested positive for coronavirus. And, my first reaction is exactly how it is right now. Like, because all you see is the worst on television, right? You don't see the people who with mild cases who do overcome this. My head went straight to, oh my God, great. My mom, immediately, like, I'm not a normal family, right? I am, but it's like the last thing my mom needs is to lose another daughter. And that's what went through my head. I'm like, great, my mom's gonna lose another daughter. And, we had a good cry last week, and I said, Mom, I'm not gonna die. Like, I'll be okay. I'm a fighter. I feel like I'm getting better. But that was my first reaction. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna be that person that you see on a ventilator, intubated. And I go, that's where my head went. And it's bringing me back there. And thankfully, I didn't have to be that person. But immediately, because again, our media is your worst enemy. It could be your best friend, but it's also your worst enemy. And, all we hear are all the gnarly cases, people dying, and you see people in the ICU, and it's like, oh my God, oh, it was awful. So my initial reaction is exactly what you're seeing right now. It was terrifying. But then again, it's like, it is what it is. What do I need to do?
Yeah. Okay, Mary, you have another question?
I do. So when, Tanya, first of all, thank you. I just cannot thank you enough. I know your family's been through hell and back, and I'm sure it was extremely terrifying. When you went in and the doctor told you or whatever, what did they prescribe you? Anything? And what did they tell you to do when you went home? Did they give you a list of, drink warm fluids, or, what exactly did they do? Did they have you leave with any medications, or, and what were some of the things that they told you to do?
Okay, so they sent me, so, when you go through the drive-through testing, you go from stage 1 where you give them your name. I didn't open up my window, driver's license, membership card up against the window, turn off your engine, go to station 2. Station 2 is where the test happened. Of course, you need to roll down your window for that, lean back. They did the swab. Uncomfortable, not painful, but uncomfortable. Roll up the window, put the keys on the dash, turn off the engine, and then go to the next station. And then that's where they ask you, okay, did the doctor prescribe you anything just in case? And I said no. So I'm assuming that for like the real, like maybe mild to more severe cases than what I had, maybe the doctor would already have put in a pre-prescription. So I didn't need, supposedly Dr. DeRolay thought that I didn't need anything, but the doctor said, okay, we're going to get you one of these. And it's the inhaler that doesn't work. It may work for some people, but it didn't work for me. But yeah, that was pretty much it. They did, I wish I would have in my file cabinet, but they did give you just a list of, the symptoms, to be aware of, and, pay attention of, what they, if they get more severe, this is what to do. But basically, if you don't have to be intubated and on a ventilator, there's really nothing you can do except breathing treatments, breathing in with pursed lips, and it hurts and it's uncomfortable, but it helped a lot. The peppermint oil, just putting it here and just breathing it, not getting it too close to your eyes. The chamomile, just like really like old school remedies. That's what has helped with me. But they gave me a pamphlet of symptoms, if they get worse, what to do if they get worse. Kaiser, I don't know who has Kaiser in this group, but they have an app called Sensely, SENSELY or something like that, and it's just an app. So every day at 11:30, I rescheduled it for today, but I get an update, you know, a nurse, but who's like this freaky, like video game nurse, does this like little check-in with me and, you know, what are my symptoms? Am I doing okay? So it's a nice track that a tracking app that they have for their Kaiser patients. So it's cool.
Okay. Well, that's great. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay. Russell, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, Tanya, thank you for your story. My question to you is, did you ask any of these experimental
you were
drugs
breaking out.
You're breaking up, Russell. Go ahead again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask Kaiser about trying any of the experimental drugs that seem to be showing promising, like the hydro?
Yeah.
I
can't pronounce it either.
Did you ask that?
I didn't. I think that, you know, because this was like Monday a week ago. So I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. I had heard about that, the H word, I can't pronounce it. I didn't ask about it because I figure if the doctor in the ER said, I feel comfortable sending you home, and he said, you know, just take your inhaler, which I told him doesn't work, you know, but he didn't say anything. And I just figure, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna go home, sleep, that's all I can do, rest this thing off. You know, but I mean, who knows where this thing could have led if I didn't sleep, get the rest that I got, who knows where this could have gone, who knows? So, but I didn't ask about it because the doctor didn't find it necessary, I guess. You know, they see all kinds of cases, right? They see the mild of the mild to severe. And if I got the mild one, then you don't want this. You don't want it to get worse. I could only imagine what the other people are feeling. So I'm sure that you know, that medication, I'm sure is being used on more severe cases, most likely.
Okay. Anybody else? Jason, you have a question? You're raising your hand, but you're eating, so we cannot hear you.
I do, thank you. And Tony, thank you again.
Hey, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. Miss your face, honey.
I missed you too, and I was thinking a lot about you. And you know, I think a lot of us have that fear that you were talking about, and I appreciate you bringing that, being out in the field, a lot of this. Was there a time where other coworkers were kind of having that fear that you had, that you weren't listening to, that we're listening to you tell us now? So does that make sense? Or
yeah. So
were you kind of, because you know, we're positive, so we push ourselves through, and then all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, and then you got it.
Yeah. So don't push yourself. If you don't need to, like I said, if you don't need to go to a facility, do not go. If there's a way to communicate through an app, through phone, through, you know, your laptop, do it. Yeah, if you don't need to leave your house, don't do it. There was a nurse, Nurse Melanie, and she had a cough like for forever, but this is like, I don't know, this is before like isolation, this is before anything really, but she sounded like she just had a really bad cold. And so she just, you know, she would wear her mask, even though it was frowned upon. She would wear her mask, but her cough lingered forever. And we worked evenings together. So I told her, I said, Melanie, you gotta wear your mask. And she was like, okay, I am, as much as I possibly can. But she had a horrible dry cough. And I think maybe I compared my symptoms to her because her cough was so consistent. But, you know, she has 2 small children, and I thought, okay, maybe she thought this too. Maybe the kids brought something back from school. So anyways, that would probably be the thing where we all kind of pushed ourselves, or maybe even had the mindset that, oh, this isn't going to happen to me.
Right.
Well,
that's usually what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it can happen to you. I never thought it would happen to me. And when it did, I was like, you know, scared, devastated, because I didn't know what was about to happen. But, you know, just don't plow through it and dismiss anything. You know, I think, Melanie, Melanie dismissed it for a long time. And thank God I did it.